everyone. Welcome to The Zest, the official podcast of Orange Coast Magazine. I'm Chelsea Ranieri, and today's guest is the owner of the very popular restaurant, The Blind Pig, which has 2 locations in Orange County, one of which is transforming into a new concept, and the Trough, which has 3 OC locations. This summer, he is opening a new restaurant called Monaco Italian Kitchen in Irvine. Thank you so much for being here today, Tony Monaco.
Thanks for having me, Chelsea.
Of course. So I would love to start from quite literally the very beginning of your story.
Of course.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up right here in Orange County. So I lived in Lake Forest until about 4th grade, and we moved to the RSM area then.
Nice.
And I lived there all the way through up until I left for college. And then even when I moved back, obviously we opened the Blind Pig in RSM. So lived there for quite a bit longer. So yeah, my whole life has been here in Orange County.
Amazing. What were you like as a kid?
What was I like as a kid? Played a lot of sports. I was probably a pain to my parents a little bit, but no, me and my brother both were big sports people. We played pretty much every sport under the sun growing up. And that was all of our hobbies, big ice hockey players, baseball, football, golf, you name it. We tried it. So that was our main thing.
Awesome. Did you have were you like a foodie as growing up too, or?
I was a late bloomer on the foodie stage.
Okay.
I think I was pretty picky when I was very young. I think I tried.
No way.
Yeah, I think I tried my first cheeseburger when I was like 10 years old. Before that, I get grilled cheeses at In-N-Out. But no, as soon as I I was like, whoa, this is really good. Why did? But no, after I started trying more and more things, I kind of eventually turned into somebody that would eat just about anything, or at least try it once.
Yeah. My rule now is I have to try it 3 times. I didn't like uni until maybe the 3rd or 4th time I tried it. But I was like, I'm committed to trying this until I like it.
Yeah, you got to acclimate a little bit to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that.
So I read that your family owns a printing company. Tell me about that.
That's right. So it's direct printing and mailing. Mostly in the political space, but a lot of commercial work too. They've owned that. As long as I can remember, I think my dad started the business when I was very young. Do a lot of work in California, Arizona, Nevada. But that kind of set me up into the idea that I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. My dad always said, control your own destiny. And I was kind of a part of that, right? I knew I wanted to be a businessman. I didn't always know I wanted to own restaurants, although I have some stories about when I was a kid where I said I wanted to, or an element.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I would always, be at restaurants and I'd be judging probably things when I was 4 years old, saying that I could do it better. We all do.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
So definitely always kind of lean towards that hospitality space, even if I didn't realize it. But yeah, from day one, I always knew I wanted to control my own destiny and be a business owner.
I love that. And on the Blind Pig's website, it says that the idea for the restaurant came from 2 beers and a dream. So what's the story behind that? And how did you get into the restaurant industry?
That is, after college, I moved back to RSM. I was working for my dad at his printing shop. We would go out and we'd have a couple drinks. We would, hang out around the area. And, I thought RSM kind of lacked a bit of a nightlife, the bar scene. So we wanted, me and my friend would talk about we need a fun, lively, cool, but still upscale spot that we can go to and hang out. We liked our dive bars, but we like going somewhere else first and ending there later, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of how that goes. So really when we came up with the idea to start the restaurant, it was just one day in our backyard having a couple beers and then just saying that I was going to do it. And this is just one of those bad ideas that ended up being a good one, and working out. So we've all had them, but we just followed through on this one.
Yeah. And I saw that you were 25 when you opened your first restaurant.
20?
I can't imagine being that young, going out on my own. How were you feeling at the time?
Nervous. Very nervous. Yeah. So I was 25 when we signed the lease. By the time it opened, I turned 26. So a little bit, more seasoned at that point. But no, the original idea, like we were talking about, just a fun place to have drinks. The original idea was a modernized dive bar. It was more in that bar scene where, I did some work previously in Las Vegas with promoting and hosting at nightclubs. So I thought, I was like, you know what, bar, I can do that. We can handle that. And then when it went through the hiring process and everything, by the time we opened, it was a full service restaurant. So if you read our original business plan and then saw the restaurant that opened, it was very different, a lot more, of a restaurant, a lot more full service, just a lot more things going on, different moving parts than just a bar, right? So it was really 2 feet into the fire and kind of learning on the fly with that. So, it was probably a little bit over my skis there, but I've always said, hire people that know more than you and then kind of listen to them. And I feel like we did a really good job at that and learned on the go while kind of leaning on some of the professionals that worked with me in the meantime. So that's kind of how we came to be successful.
What made you change?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What made you change direction from the bar to the restaurant?
It came in the hiring process. So it had to do with that whole hire people that know more and just go with their ideas and kind of listen to them. And so we just randomly found this super extremely talented chef and he jumped on board and we're like, hey, what kind of food do you want to do? And he would just made this mock menu and it was way more intense than we had originally thought. I think before that we were thinking just having a pizza in the back and a fryer and just sticking to that. But we're like, you know what? I believe in your vision. I think this is super cool. Let's implement it. Let's do it. And so that's how it happened.
Amazing. And the Blind Pig's kind of like a speakeasy style restaurant. How did you guys come up with that concept?
So, like I said, we knew we wanted to do something in the bar range of cocktails. So I knew we wanted to do awesome, amazing craft cocktails. That kind of lended its way towards the speakeasy and prohibition phase and theme. So we decided to kind of roll with that theme. And so then it came to picking a name and, just doing some research about the Prohibition era, we came to find the Blind Pig is just another name for speakeasies back during that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the story goes that people would go to see a animal show, like a pig or a tiger is what it would be the loophole or what the advertisement would be. And with that, they get a ticket. And with that ticket, they go into the speakeasy. And with that ticket, they get a drink, a free cocktail. So that was kind of the loophole behind it. And those establishments became known as Blind Pigs. You hear Blind Tiger, but really you could do any animal. Those are just common ones. And so when we saw Blind Pig, it was kind of I was fate since I actually had a pet pig in college.
What?
Yeah. So.
Oh my God, my dream.
Yeah, it was a little black potbelly pig. He was so cute, named Biggie. So Biggie the Piggy. And as soon as we made that connection, we were like, there it is. That's the name, the Blind Pig.
What's it like having a pig for a pet? Because I imagine it being kind of like having a dog.
A lot like having a dog. A little bit like a cat too, because they have a litter that they use. But
oh, really?
They're incredibly smart. It's crazy. I think we potty trained him in a week. So pigs are crazy smart. Love to cuddle. I mean, it's having a little, it's like an English bulldog, almost.
Yeah, totally.
Essentially.
Wow, way smarter than my dog. He took way too long to get potty trained.
Still cute.
So do you yes, thank you. So do you guys collaborate on with the chefs to come up with new dishes and cocktails, or do you just let them take full reign?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, mostly I let them take full reign, hire a great chef and let him do his thing, hire a super talented bartender and let him also do his thing. But I kind of have more of an outline as far as hey, we want to make sure we have these kind of cocktails on the menu. We want to make sure we have these kind of entrees. We need a chicken entree, a taco entree, a beef entree, things of that nature. Right. And they just fill in with, whatever they're currently inspired by and what they want to make. And, I get to try it and approve of it. But I mean, with the team I've got, the approval is usually a yes. So.
What do you look for when you're trying a new dish to approve it?
Well, I mean, first you eat with your eyes, right? So visually it has to look appetizing, right? And as far as the size on the plate, we do want it to feel like there's value there. We don't want our guests to leave feeling hungry, so we want it to be ample enough on the plate. We want it to look visually appealing. And then obviously we want it to taste amazing as well.
Yeah. Do you have 3 must-try items at the Blind Pig?
Ooh, 3 must-try items at the Blind Pig. I would say, of course we do. Now, a couple of my favorites. Our menus are a little bit different at each pig, but our burrata is an amazing dish. You might see that actually on the Monaco Italian Kitchen menu.
Nice.
So that one is absolutely amazing. Our steak dish seems simple, but we do a ribeye, a 20-ounce ribeye, and on the side it's a kimchi fried rice with a chojian sauce and oil. And it's one of those dishes we'll probably never take off. It is just absolutely amazing. And then I'm a sucker for our pastrami dip. So seems simple.
Okay, all three of those.
Yeah. So that's one of my go-tos when I go to the restaurant and eat, for sure.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So we talked a little bit about when you're younger and you could spot a restaurant and say, like, I could do this better. What do you think sets apart a great dining experience from just kind of like an average one?
Well, I mean, as far as, thinking you can do things better, right?
Yeah.
We all think that, I almost said that tongue in cheek, but, no, I think what separates a great dining experience, it's not just service, it's not just food, it's just the overall vibe and atmosphere as well. So everything from like when you walk into the door and you feel greeted and you feel welcomed, to when you sit down and you feel like, I like lively, upbeat atmospheres when I go out and eat. So that's always going to be a common theme in all of my restaurants. And so, loud enough where you're not hearing the table next to you, but quiet enough where you can talk to who you're dining with, and obviously amazing food and drinks, but cocktails, anytime there's a place with great cocktails, I'm in. So
yes, definitely. My drink of choice is a dirty martini, and I'm obsessed.
Nice. I'm getting into, now that we're doing the Italian spot, we're trying a lot of espresso martinis. So espresso martini game, but my go-to is always like mezcal cocktails. I basically just go up to the bartenders at this place and like something smoky and fruity and refreshing. Big rock, always do the big ice with the big and I love it. I love it all. I just let them create for me.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so good. I love mezcal too. What were some of the challenges that you guys faced early on that you overcame?
All of the challenges, really. I mean, even from like the build out, we can talk about the RSM, the first restaurant. Even with like the build out in general, because just learning how to do everything on the fly, right? We weren't really used to the process. We didn't know the process. So even just like the permitting and everything, it was kind of like trial by fire and figuring it out. And then when we opened, it's the flood of people. It's the opening month that is the hardest, so in RSM and Yorba Linda, it's the same situation where you advertise it so much and then maybe there's a delay and people are waiting and anticipating, the hype is building, and you open your doors and the whole city tries to come in within a week, right? So it's kind of balancing that out. And in our first concept, and even in Yorba Linda to an extent, we didn't really manage that. We just kind of opened the doors and sat all the tables and just rolled. And we got crushed. So, there's a process of soft openings and getting your team ready, which we did. We could have done more of, but it's also, we could take a couple tables out. We don't have to sit the entire restaurant for that first week. We can adjust the reservations to have them farther apart to kind of ease our kitchen. So just not kind of just throw the whole restaurant, everybody in every seat in the restaurant, and just go after it. And then the hour-long ticket times, etc. So those are always difficult, but I mean, I could talk to you for an hour and a half about all the difficult things we went through when it comes to just hiring and managing employees, and managing stress is a big one too. So
yeah, I can only imagine. Well, it sounds like you're very prepared for your new concept, which, as you mentioned, the Yorba Linda one is turning into. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So in Yorba Linda, at the Blind Pig, we're going to close and temporarily and rebrand into Blind Coyote Cantina. So it's going to be kind of like a Cal-Mex, little bit of ranchero vibes, but Mexican cuisine restaurant with an agave-driven bar. We're hoping to only be closed for 3 weeks. We're going to remodel the interior to an extent, different tiles, different color schemes, paint, pictures, some different seatings, and then just be open, and full new menu, Mexican cuisine, agave-driven menu. And we're really excited about it. So we're going to be open for lunch and dinner, where right now in Yorba Linda, we're just open for dinner 6 days a week. But yeah, the team's ready. The staff is excited. All the response I've heard from most of the locals that come in are they're excited for a change. They love the Blind Pig, but they like the new vision as well, and they're excited to see what we can bring to the city of Yorba Linda.
Very cool. Why'd you go with the Mexican theme?
Well, I've wanted to do a Mexican concept for a while. We were actually shopping it around a little bit, and it just kind of didn't work out. Growing up in Southern California, Mexican food's pretty prevalent out here. So it's something you grow up eating, and it's one of my favorite places to go dine. I mean, I just mentioned my favorite cocktail was a mezcal margarita. So it seemed like an obvious choice for me as far as what I love to eat and what I thought we could do well as a team. My chef has Mexican heritage, and he's always cooking up different items that fall within that cuisine level. And I mean, even if you look at our product mix over at the Blind Pig, some of our most successful dishes over the course of, the 10, 11 years we've been open have been like our tacos or empanadas or different kind of Mexican inspired dishes. So why not,
Yeah. Oh, that's very exciting. So tell me a little bit about the Trough and how you came up with that idea.
So the Trough was our second concept that we opened up about a year and a half after we opened the Pig and RSM right across the courtyard. So it was right there. While I was working at the Blind Pig, we just did dinners only. So while I was working, I would get hungry and I wanted something to eat, and I love sandwiches as much as the next guy, and a space opened up across the way. And I thought there was a need for like a good chef-driven, healthy options for sandwiches and other kind of like lunch food in the area. And so we took it and we opened the Trough, which the Trough is where pigs eat. And so I was, the pig that needed a place to eat. And so the name kind of fit. And we're specialized now in breakfast and lunch. Our breakfast burritos are, a lot of people's favorite around. They tell me that. I'm not saying they're the best, but they tell me they're the best. And so, to this day, I still eat at the Trough probably at least once a day. So
no way. That's awesome.
I'm always around it. I'm always in the office.
Yeah.
So it's an easy choice, but it never gets old for me.
Tell me a little bit about the secret menu that you have at the Trough.
We implemented that a few years ago. It's really it's items that people have came in like locals, and they have kind of adjusted, because we'll take, if somebody wants to do something a little different or add something on the sandwich or try something new, we'll do it. And so it's stuff that we thought was really good that maybe a customer had come up with, which is a change. That's pretty much the majority of the secret menu, is kind of customers' takes on some of our sandwiches that they would come in and order off. And we're like, you know what, let's just do a secret menu and let's throw it on there for them.
That's cool. And also, what an honor to be someone who had like a good idea and actually made it on the secret menu.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah.
So as someone who loves food, and as I mentioned, I'm a bit of a foodie myself, and I've followed different, kind of food trends throughout the years, just with the work we do at the magazine. How do you continue to innovate with all the different food trends that kind of come and go?
Well, a lot of it is credit to my chefs and their creativity, right? Ooh. But as far as like inspiration and innovation and as far as different dishes, it's really just all about going and trying new restaurants, constantly just looking, scanning the menu, ordering as much food as you can stomach, and just kind of taking notes. And it's not about like copying anybody, but you just can take influences from all these different restaurants that are doing amazing things. There's such a great scene in Orange County, and then up obviously north in LA and south in San Diego. So if you go to enough places and you eat out enough, you can draw some inspiration and some new ideas. So it's really kind of like the industry as a whole will piggyback off of each other as far as like, hey, what are they doing? What are they doing? What can we do? And just going from there.
Also, what a great excuse to go and dine out. It's like my favorite.
Yeah, it's work. I'm working.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any favorite Orange County restaurants that you'd like to shout out, or any that you frequent?
Well, I have a few favorites. Right now I'm living in Costa Mesa. So
nice. I used to live there. It was my favorite.
There's a couple great spots out here I like to go to. I like to go to Shorebird down on the peninsula. Olia on 17th Street is great. Playa Mesa is a great Mexican spot down here. Then, even our neighbors, Carmelita's just opened their spot Calo, like in South Coast Plaza. They're doing a really great job. We've been neighbors with them for over 10 years. And so big fans
Wow.
of what they do. Yeah. Carmelitas has been with us, next to the patio next door in RSM the whole time. And they do a great job. So it's fun to see them expand as well.
That's awesome. I love all those restaurants that you mentioned as well. So tell me about your newest venture, Monaco Italian Kitchen.
Yeah.
Which also, thank you for bringing it to Irvine, because I'm in Irvine and I'm so excited that we're that little hub over there has so many great restaurants.
It is. Yeah. So we actually our Irvine Trough is a shared wall there. So we opened the Trough in Irvine, and there was a space next to it. And I was talking to the landlords one day, and it's funny because I was like, what's your vision for who the neighbors are going to be? And he's like, I'm kind of really hoping for like an Italian restaurant. I'm like, that's kind of funny because I'm Italian and I've always wanted to do an Italian restaurant. How would you feel about me doing a second place here? And, they loved the idea. We loved working with that landlord and opening the Trough. So it wasn't a hard choice for us as far as the location goes. We already kind of had vetted the location for the Trough. And yeah, I mean, it just felt natural being that, like from an Italian family, grew up making Italian food at Thanksgiving and Christmas. So definitely have a lot of that in my blood. And I always wanted to do Italian. It felt like a perfect time. And who doesn't love pizza and pasta,
Yeah, definitely. Do you have any favorite like family recipes that you're putting on the menu?
Well, I mean, we make some pretty good raviolis. That'll be there.
Oh, nice.
Our meatballs, are not too bad either, but we'll keep some of the family recipes on the hush, and that mock menu or the menu will come out soon, and chef's working really hard on creating it. Our chef Carl, who's been with me for pretty much all 10 years now, super talented. Wow. And he's taken the lead on it, and I actually sent him and our sous chef Davis to Italy in January, where they went and they took a 2-week like full Neapolitan pizza course. So a very extensive like professional class. So they're pizza pros now. And I flew out there and met them at the end because, I mean, it's a long class. I was just going to meet them at the end. And we went and traveled throughout Italy for the next 10 plus days and really just tried all the cuisine and just kind of soaked it all in and gathered inspiration for this restaurant. So really excited to bring a lot of different cool, fun food to the Italian scene.
Amazing. I tried pizza in Naples and I was like, how much different is it going to be from all the other pizza we've been having in Italy? It's so different. I can't like name what it is about it, but it literally is different.
It's the ingredients. It's what it is. It's just the quality of ingredients, and it's the way they make their dough. So it's very simple. I mean, I won't even try to explain it because I didn't go to the class. But the way they make it with the ingredients they use, it's a lot less filling. So, and that's what we're going to try to replicate. So like you take down in Italy, you might recall taking down a whole pizza and not feeling absolutely stuffed, where, around here, that might not be the case. And so that just speaks to the flour, the crust, and how they make it.
Wow, that's so true. I didn't think about it like that. Yeah, I can't eat a whole pizza here, but I did it out there.
Yeah, you did it out there, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So can you share any sneak peek, anything about Monaco Italian Kitchen to get everyone excited?
Sure. I could tell you we're going to have an absolutely amazing bar program like all of our concepts will have in common. And so, like I mentioned, the espresso martinis before, we're focusing on having some of the best espresso martinis around, a few different options. So you can look forward to that. We're going to try to, replicate that same crust so that if you want to fill your face with a full pizza at lunch, you can go back to work 20 minutes later. And one really cool item we had in Italy that we're going to bring over is a tortellini and brodo, which is actually just tortellini and broth. And when you look at it, it looks super simple. The broth is kind of clear. It didn't look like a lot of flavor. And as soon as you eat it, you're just blown away with the ingredients, the flavor. It's absolutely awesome. Now, we'll also offer a cream sauce if you'd rather have the cream sauce than the broth. But I would definitely recommend trying the tortellini and brodo. That's going to be one of my favorite dishes probably when it comes on.
No, it's so nice. And also great for people who are lactose intolerant like myself.
Hey, that's right. That's
Gives me
right.
an option.
You're in.
Exactly. So what dates are both of your new concepts opening?
So the Blind Coyote Cantina, we're going to our last day of service as the Blind Pig down there is going to be July 27th. I believe that's the Saturday. That following Monday, August 5th, we're going to start the renovation process. Hopefully
Amazing.
just 2 weeks and then training for a week. We want to keep all of our staff, and it's hard to go without a paycheck for, any amount of time really. So we're super thankful they're all willing to stay, but we're not going to take advantage of that. We're going to get open as soon as possible to get some shifts going for them. So hopefully a mere 2 weeks with no shifts, 1 week of training and soft openings. And then hopefully by the end of August, last week of August, we'll be rolling over there. So pretty quick turnaround. And then right now we have broken ground finally at Monaco Italian Kitchen. So that took a while, permitting, et cetera, but we're through it. And right now the schedule says end of September for the build out, tack a month or so on top of that. So hopefully the first week of November or last week of October we'll be rolling.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank
2
you.
new restaurants in a year. That's amazing.
Yeah. And then actually I have other news. It's breaking news. But you're going to hear it first. So
exciting.
We actually just signed a lease for another Trough in Tempe, Arizona as well. So, within the next 6 to 8 months, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a very important time period for us as a restaurant group. So yeah, we're really excited about that as well. So you heard it first.
Wow. Why'd you pick Tempe?
I went to school out there in Arizona State.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's going to be right on campus. We're really excited to kind of expand outside of California and continue the process of kind of opening up more restaurants.
Wow, those kids are super lucky to have that on campus. That's so nice.
I really just want to go back to school. That's all it is.
Yeah,
I want to go back to college. Yeah.
So we're coming to the end of our time, but before I let you go, I have 3 final questions for you that we call the Thoughtful 3.
Okay.
So what do you wish that you would have known before opening your first restaurant?
A couple things I could say. One is what I wish, like something I would have told myself at least was be confident in your opinions and have conviction in them. We talked earlier about how I would hire people that were professionals and knew more than me, and I'd roll with it. But there is a line in that, right? And so when you have an idea and you believe in it, you should roll with it. And so there were times in the past where I probably listened a little bit too much and didn't take my own opinion in that sense. And so I would rather be right about something I'd rather be wrong about something that I truly believed in and I implemented it than be right about something that didn't work out, that deep down in my gut I knew wouldn't work, but I had listened to somebody else because I wasn't sure about my opinion. So really, like, believe in yourself, believe in your opinions, and roll with it. And like I said, if you're going to be wrong about something that you believe in, and learn from it then. And then after that, it would just be about managing stress and anxiety, not getting angry, knowing what you don't know, and knowing what you don't control, and understanding that, right? So in my earlier years in the restaurant industry, I definitely, get a little bit stressed out. You get a little angrier quickly. So in my later years, I learned how to not react emotionally at things, but really respond with reason and logic. And that really helped me really grow as a restaurateur and an owner-operator.
Definitely. And then how do you approach risk and uncertainty now versus how you did when you were just starting out?
How do I approach risk and uncertainty now? Well, before that, I think now I know a little bit more about the industry, and I have a little bit more knowledge about, just how risky something may be, or I have like a little bit more confidence in when I'm balancing a risk reward out, where I think I just kind of flew into it earlier in my career, without like being green and just kind of like, I'm just doing it. I didn't even realize how risky I'd be, and it didn't work out. Right. So now I just say I'm just a little bit more calculated in that regard. I definitely still do not shy away from risk, clearly, as I just keep opening spots up, a bit of a masochist, I guess, in that way. But no, I would say the more you know, the more calculated you can be about that risk. You see different angles, when it comes to a location. There might be something previously a few years ago, even that I may have didn't think about when it came to, does this location, will it work? Is it going to be successful? And now, with experience, there's a lot of different angles that you look at.
Yeah. And then lastly, what rituals or habits do you feel have helped you become successful?
That would go back to the managing of anxiety and stress for sure. So, I would say 6 or 7 years ago, I started really get into the Stoic philosophy, which has really, which is just really all about understanding what you can and can't control and not reacting to things. But essentially what I had just previously said. And I feel like that's where I've grown the most and what's helped me the most in my career, becoming just a better employer in general and better person. So I think that's something that I would advise any business owner or really anybody to kind of hone in on, is just learn how to manage your anger and your stress and not let it define you, because you can't think clearly in that sense, right? And not worth living life that way. So I think doing that has really helped me grow for sure.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you so much for doing this. I can't wait to try your new restaurant.
No, thanks for having me. We'll definitely invite you out for some of the soft openings, and you'll let me know how it is.
Yes, I would love that. Thank you again.
Of course. Thanks, Chelsea.